is back with another one. I want to give my late reaction on the Vasily Lomachenko versus Guillermo Rigondeaux weigh-in, and I also want to put out my keys to victory and my prediction. Okay, as far as the weigh-in, I'm gonna start off with Rigo. Rigo looked a little bloated to me, like he just had a meal. It's, for any of you guys that's ever been in the best shape that you can be, as far as being toned up and lean, sometimes you could be toned up and lean, and you could have a meal, and right after you look yourself in the mirror, you're still a little defined, but you're kind of bloated, like you had a meal, and once you digest that, you'll be back more toned again. That's kind of how I felt about Rigondeaux when I seen him. It just seemed like he's in shape, he's toned, but it seemed like he just had a meal or something, and it looks like he's been drinking a lot of fluids. It looks like he still got water on him. He was he weighed in at 128 and a half. So judging by what he weighed in and how he looked on the scale, I really can't see Rigondeaux putting on any more weight, in the next 24 hours. I think this is Rigo rehydrated. Okay, I don't see Rigo having to had lost any weight during camp. I think the struggle in camp was trying to keep weight on him. So I think he just ate whatever he wanted and just got in good shape in his camp. I don't think he had to worry about dieting or anything, just trying to put some weight and muscle on him. But as far as Lomachenko, he definitely looked more toned and defined, and he was slightly drained. And when I say slightly drained, I say that because when you look at Lomachenko compared to Rigondeaux, you could see Lomachenko being able to rehydrate and put on more weight. Lomachenko, he's gonna put on more weight in the next 24 hours. Okay, we know about the stipulation in the contract to where Lomachenko can't come in over 138. I believe 9 a.m. and then he can just put on whatever he wants. I think Lomachenko could probably put on another 6 to 10 pounds. Okay, so he just looks like he can put on some more weight, but as opposed to Rigo, where he's not gonna put on any more weight. And I didn't see too much of a size, I was expecting a size difference. I was expecting Lomachenko to be bigger, and you can see that it's just not as exaggerated as I was expecting. Okay, now I know there's some guys out there that judge size differently. I like to judge size by looking at somebody's back, the width of the back, the width of the shoulders. That's kind of how I determine the size differential. Some people do it in other ways. That's kind of how I do it. You can see definitely in the shoulders, just the width overall, that Lomachenko's definitely the larger man. We know Lomachenko is at least a few inches taller than Rigondeaux, but this isn't something Rigondeaux hasn't seen before. We've always seen Rigondeaux dealing with the height difference. He hasn't dealt with the kind of skill that Lomachenko possesses, but at least he's dealt with the height. Boxers, like Rigondeaux, even Lomachenko, sometimes it's gonna be situations in the gym where they want to get some work, and there's not gonna be a guy in the gym that's their size. They're gonna have to spar guys that's bigger than him if they want to keep getting work. It's not always gonna be a guy in the gym. It might not be a training camp. They might just want to get some work, and it might be a bigger guy, that's 2-3 weight divisions bigger than them, but they just want to get some work. And I'm sure these guys have sparred guys bigger than them all the time. So I just don't see that being an issue. Now, yes, this is at the highest level, so that's a argument point, but I just think the size differential, it just isn't that major. Now, of course, I will be able to compare the two guys' backs once they get in the ring, because you didn't really get to see the guys' backs at the weigh-in. They're usually facing the camera, or you'll see them like standing on the to the side, like when they're facing off. But we'll see tomorrow once Lomachenko's fully hydrated, and this is as big as Rigondeaux's getting, so we'll definitely see the size difference tomorrow. But I just don't think it's gonna play as big of a factor as everyone's saying. Now, I know the saying goes, you know, the great big guy, I think this says the great big man beats, or the good big guy beats the great little man. I think that's how the saying goes. But maybe Rigondeaux is the exception to the rule. So I'm gonna get into the keys to victory that Rigo needs, in my opinion, to win this fight. First off, Rigo needs to not allow Lomachenko to outwork him. He needs to slightly increase his work rate. Now, I'm not saying he should just veer away from his fighting style completely, because Rigondeaux's 37 years old. You can't, you know, veer too much away from his style. You know, it's ingrained in his head. But he does need to kind of get that work rate up, because I believe I heard, I want to say it was Quest X, he made a good point when he said that Lomachenko is going to be throwing 4 or 5 punches, and you know, maybe just 1 or 2 of those might land, but it might just look good for the judges even if they're not landing. So, you know, Rigondeaux needs to let off some combinations, and that leads into my next point. Lomachenko needs to, Rigondeaux needs to make Lomachenko pay every time he tries to do that pivoting, jumping shit to the weak side of his opponent. Now, I see Lomachenko, he does this in every fight. I don't see him just, you know, abandoning it for a fight. You know, it's ingrained in him. It's what he does. So I see Lomachenko doing this hopping shit. Usually Lomachenko's doing this versus an orthodox fighter, you know, a right-handed fighter. So the side that Lomachenko's most comfortable going to as being a southpaw is going to be him going to his right side, you know, and that would translate to him going to the left side of his opponent. So that's natural for him. He feels natural going to his right, and it automatically ends up being his opponent, which is most likely an orthodox fighter, is always their weak side. So I would be interested to see if Lomachenko's comfortable doing that hopping shit to the weak side of a southpaw. So that would mean he would have to do that pivoting hopping shit to his weak side, which would be going to his left, to, you know, to go to Rigo's weak side. So I'm wondering if Lomachenko's gonna be trying to do that shit to go to Rigo's weak side. I see Lomachenko having so much of a habit of usually doing his pivoting to the right that he's gonna, you know, try that shit on Rigo, and he's gonna slip up and get caught with a dangerous left hand. You know, that's what I'm banking on. And also that leads me into my next point. Rigo needs to make sure that he gets off first. He can't wait on Loma. I know he's a counter puncher, and he wants to be meticulous and you know, be calculated and make Lomachenko pay for his mistakes. But it's gonna have to be a lot of situations in this fight to where Rigo has to get off first. Okay, he got to be able to create his own offense without you know, trying to piggyback off of what Lomachenko's doing and countering. And next, you know, I got a few questions like, will Lomachenko be the aggressor all night? He's the bigger guy. You know, Lomachenko's the one that has the pressure on him. You know, he got a guy that's coming up 2 weight divisions to fight him. So Lomachenko has the pressure on him to be the aggressor. So that could be his downfall, you know. And I'm sitting here thinking, you know, the way Lomachenko fights, he lets off combinations, you know, 5, 6, 7 punch combinations. And who does that remind you of? That's a welterweight. That reminds me of Amir Khan. Amir Khan likes to throw off these combinations, and that's kind of been Amir Khan's downfall. Amir Khan, he can't stop throwing these long ass combinations, and somebody ends up throwing with them, and they touch that chin. So I'm wondering, you know, will Lomachenko fall in love with his combinations, and Rigondeaux end up throwing with him and catch that chin with a hard, vicious left hand in the night short, you know. So my prediction is Rigondeaux. Man, I don't know if I want to say knockout. It's almost like for Rigondeaux to win, he has to get a knockout, you know. But I'm thinking it's gonna be a decision for Rigondeaux. I want to say a split decision win for Rigondeaux, a fight where Rigondeaux is gonna drop Lomachenko at least one time, because that's the only way that Rigondeaux's gonna win a decision if he has to hurt Lomachenko many times, and he has to get at least a knockdown, man, for that to work on the scorecards. I don't know, man. I want to go with a knockout, but I just can't predict a knockout, man. I just don't see it. You know, I do believe Rigondeaux's gonna hurt Lomachenko. I do believe that Rigondeaux has the ability to stop him and the ability to knock him down, but I don't know, man. But that's my thoughts, man. Again, my prediction is a split decision win for Guillermo Rigondeaux. That's my prediction. You got me on record, and I'm out. Oh yeah, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and hit that bell icon to be notified when all my latest content drops.